Kia ora, New Zealand. Welcome to Sweet Chain Live. My name's Matt Drake. This is episode 135. We don't have Morgan. Wait 1 second. He is just here. Let's see if we can bring him in. Morgan Hartfeld, good evening. I can't hear you. I can't hear you at all, actually.
How's that, Matt?
Oh, that's much better. Yeah, I can get you there. I've got you there.
Sorry, Matt. Sorry, team. I was just saying to Matt that it is absolutely dumping down outside my house right now, and my computer just did not have the speed ability to keep up with the internet and all that's going to happen tonight on the show. So I apologise. I'm back. I'm on my phone. We're good to go.
Excellent. Well, you look very good. You look very good. How's your week been? Have you had a good week?
It's a bit up and down, to be fair. I've played a wee bit of disc golf. We started our league this week, but obviously Mother Nature's sort of been against us for the last few days. There's been, as I mentioned earlier to you, behind the chains, there's been an earthquake, there's crazy rain, lightning, thunder. There's a fire up out of Twizel and Ohau right now. Gore's in a state of emergency. So it's a funny week, man, to say the least. Just thinking about all the people out there that are affected, and hope you guys are all good and safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
How's your week been?
My week's been okay. I haven't played any disc golf, right? So last weekend, on the Sunday, I ran the Hutt Valley 10K, which was it starts at the disc golf course actually in Hikoikoi, if you know it, and it goes up the river up to Melling Bridge and then back again. And there were.
How'd you fare?
I did what I thought was okay, about 58 minutes. But the wind, it was so windy here on Sunday morning. There were wind warnings in place, and we had 40k headwinds with 130k gusts on the way up, and then the opposite on the way back. So I was getting just blown along on the way home. It was
You're just taking big strides on the way back.
Yeah, just sort of jump in the air and get pushed along. Anyway, that was all good until yesterday. Was it Wednesday? Wednesday morning, I woke up and have you ever had a bursitis?
I haven't. No.
You know what they are?
Is it? I might be wrong on this. Is a bursitis like a lump on your skin? Like
no, it's an inflammation of the knee joint.
Oh yeah, sorry. No, I do know that because I've got one right here.
And I tell you what, it really hurts. I can't really straighten. I can't really bend my leg past about. Yeah. I don't know, an angle of about, what's that, 110 degrees.
Oh wow!
So I'm hobbling around everywhere. It's difficult to get up.
Did you catch an injury during the run, or is it just sort of an after effect of doing a 10K?
It's an after effect. It's because a couple of reasons really. Honestly, it's because I'm a little bit overweight, and it's also because I've not run that kind of distance for a while. I normally stick sort of 5 to 8Ks. So
look here, man, you got it done. So big ups to you, proud of you for that. That's an awesome job. I don't think I could. Well, no, I don't even think I know I couldn't step out the door and run 10K if I wanted to. So,
well, it was a start. I've had it before. It'll go away. I've got some. I went and bought some osteoarthritis gel from the shop, which is doing very well. So yeah, welcome to old age, Brett. Indeed, I've only started getting these kind of ailments, I should say, since I sort of entered in my master's year. So that's let that be a warning to everybody out there who's happily chugging along in MPO. Age will catch up with you. Yes, take care of your bodies, because it will make a real difference. Anyway, let's get on with tonight's show. Now, we've got a great show for you tonight. first up, we're going to go through some hot scores. Then we're going to go and have a look at the results of the final meltdown, which was the final event in the Black Ice series down in Dunedin. And spoiler alert, yeah, he won. But we'll get on to some more deep results. Then we'll be talking to our guest tonight, Henry Pearson, who announced today via a number of different channels, Tour Down Under. Now, for most people, including myself, only really found out about this yesterday, when a teaser post was put up, scrambling around trying to ask people what was going on. And then a release earlier on today of a short little clip, which gives a little bit of more detail, but really I want to ask him tonight what it's all about. So we've got that. Then we're also going to talk about the announcement from the Elite Series, Morgan, which you made earlier on today, regarding the prize for the winner of the Elite Series, which is incredible. So we'll go in. You can talk a little bit more detail about that a little bit later on. Then we've got updated power rankings after the final meltdown, and yeah, that should just about do it for your Thursday night entertainment. How does that sound?
That sounds good to me, and I hope that sounds good to the chat. So yeah, let's hook into it.
Fantastic. Right, Morgan, start us off down south. How did we go?
Oh, well, I tell you what, you said that a certain someone won the final meltdown, and it wasn't my pick of Ethan Stout, but he did take the hot score down of 14 down at Queen's Park, which is a pretty hot score. Going to jump into Chingford with Flavio Mayorga at -6, Brockville's Mark Tebbit -4, and we're going to shoot over to the Gardens, where this week I didn't get it done apparently. So Billy Roberts with a -8, but who did get it done out at Tucker Beach is my guy Gus with a -5. Then we're going to shoot over into Ely Point in Wanaka, and we've got Ian Graham with a 1 over par. Lismore, we got Mark Doran with a -3, and that rounds us out in Wanaka. And then we're going to shoot all the way up to Christchurch, and we're going to hit up Jelly Park with Ashton Clark, -15. Huge score there by Ashton, or as some like to call him, Cashton. We're going to shoot into Ascot Park now with Jay Beasy with a 6 over. Queen's Park Reserve, Jono Scott with a -5. We're going to finish out Christchurch at Brooker Ave with Khalil Shearer with a -1. And Taylor River, to finish off the south, we've got Muzz Devil with a 1 over par. How are we looking in the north?
In the North Island, starting up in Berhampore, it's Nick Panu who hits 4 under par up in the hills to take the hot round in the capital. Ikoiko Reserve over the water, it's Ben Morrison who hits 5 under par. Up at Harcourt Park, Matt Badger hits 1 under to go the best score of the week. And Ephraim Russell in the Mighty Manawatu hits Linklater for -6. Over to Maryland's, Brian Rawlins hits -3, and Spa Park Red was showing its teeth with Dave Winters managing just a +7. McLaren's, it was also playing tricky this week with Blair Graham shooting +4. Henderson was a bit softer for Richard Waterston at 14 under par. So well done to all of the winners, all of the hot scores this week. Very well played. We're going to have a look at the results of the final meltdown, which was played last weekend in Dunedin. So let me see if we've got the results here. Now, Levi Stout takes out the competition with a 10.23 and 10.24 rated, two rated rounds, which, quite frankly, is incredible.
Yes, it is. That is utterly superb disc golf. There we go. I've got the scores up now as well. Go show round ratings. Yeah, wow. Huge golf. Isaac Ladder coming in second there. I know he's 10 strokes back, but still some really good golf there. 986 and 967 on his ratings. Pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's beaten some really good players there, right? So he's finished 4 shots ahead of Ethan Stout. He's finished 8 shots ahead of Francis Orange. He's beaten some really, really good, really strong competitors there. And got one over.
If you beat Tom McKay anywhere down those ways, you know you're doing well, because
if you beat Tom McKay in Dunedin, then you're doing a really good job. Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. Let's look over to MA1, and as predicted by the data analytics team, Bray Marsden took out the honours with a very strong first round, which kind of kept him ahead of the pack, and he managed to hold on.
Yeah, gave him that breathing room that he needed to. I think he was having a little trouble on the putting green at the beginning of the second round, and sort of figured it out a wee bit near the end, enough to hold it together and take down that first place. So well done, Bray.
And a bit further down on the sheet was FA1. Megan Merrick puts together her third win on the bounce to take out and beat Nicola Stout by 2 shots, and they were quite some distance ahead of the field. So well done to Megan. That's her second.
She shot near on 50, 60 odd points on her rating there as well. So, 903 in that first round. So that's some hot shooting by her.
Yeah. Someone who's really kind of last few months has really kind of put some good stuff together. She's won her last 3 tournaments, and I think she got a second place in the one before that. So yeah, doing very well. Down into MA4, and it's Hanlon Johnson who comfortably takes out MA4 with a 9 under par. Right. Let's go back to here. So yeah, some pretty good disc golf being played down in Dunedin. That was the last of the Black Ice series. Yeah, always a good series, always well attended. I was really pleased to see actually that the FA1 division was as strong as it was. I mean, depth wise, obviously quality as well, but depth of
absolutely.
Players. Yeah,
you would have got there 13 ladies there. That's incredible.
That's pretty consistent across all of the series events as well. So yeah, doing some good stuff.
It's cool to see.
Indeed, right. Now we're going
to have you, and I didn't speak to you about this before. Do you want to bring up the Spring League? Would you mind? Is that something we can do quickly?
Possibly.
Not that it's going to do me any favours with where I placed, but maybe just bring it up. We started our 8-week league in the Queenstown Gardens. There we had 30 plus people show up, and we got around 40 signed up, and looking forward to a few more faces showing up next week when they're not working. Massive turnout for a league.
This kicked off this week. Oh, yes.
Yeah, kicked off on Tuesday night. It's 1 week before the old daylight savings kicks in, so we were sort of fighting the dark on the last few holes. We'll use that as an excuse for no birdies on the back 5 or so holes. But, man, some incredible golf going on out there. Have you? Let me know if you've got that up on the screen.
We've got it here. Pete McKay takes out the first week with a 44. What's that? It's 13 under par.
13 under par,
which was enough for a 994 rating. That's incredible. I'm actually really surprised by that. Hey,
yeah.
But he's beaten Ben Willake by 4 shots, who's got a strong rating, and beat Hemi by 7 shots, who's also got a strong rating as well.
And me by 7. I'll let him have that. But Steve Tate, which you kind of skipped past there, he's a bit of a Gardens bandit that plays with Pete McKay, Smokey, and the crew, daily in there. He's an absolute Queenstown weapon. So he's just another one of those ones that'll always be near the top in an event like this.
Yeah.
So I kind of kicked off. I went and did a practice round beforehand. Was about 6 under through 7 holes, and shot about 10 under through 15, and then obviously showed up, did the TD thing, and played like a TD.
Well, there's down in MA1, Corey Gray shoots a what's a 49? 49, apologies, is 8
under par
for a 927, and in the ladies, Victoria Speller shoots an 820 rated even par round.
Yeah.
So
we actually had 8 ladies out on the course there. We just had some new ladies show up to compete, so we didn't have their scores going in. They're in a rec division, but eight ladies total there as well. So hoping to grow the ladies division down here in Queenstown also.
You got what's 41 plus a few more you said, so that's a good amount to be going with.
Oh, absolutely stoked. So looking forward. I think we'll get a few more next week as well. So
fantastic.
See what happens.
This, Morgan, is one of the best times of year, I think, because it's the time of year when we start getting evenings. The light comes back. I mean, next week it's literally day and night in the evenings as to when you can get out. We get ourselves an hour of daylight in the evening, and it's absolutely fantastic. I love this time of year. Because the days are still getting longer. It's not, it's not like, get to February, March, and the days are getting shorter still. It's the days are
still getting longer.
If you like playing leagues and you are based in Wellington, then you're going to want to get up to Hardcore Park on Wednesday nights from November. So the way we're doing this is we're looking at it'll be an 8-week league. The final week will be on the 21st of December, which makes the first week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the 2nd of November will be the first week of that league, and we'll be playing at Hardcore Park off the short tees. So get yourself involved. There'll be more details coming out on that. We've done that last couple of years. Hardcore Park's a little bit less forgiving than the Gardens when it comes to giving out good ratings.
So I hear.
Hey ho. Anyway, right. Let's get on. We're going to talk to our guest now. Our guest tonight, who announced some stuff today. And we want to know a little bit more about it. So good evening, Henry Pearson.
Hello.
How's it going?
How you doing, Henry?
Hey, guys. Hey, Matt. Hey, Morgs. Thanks for having me on.
No,
absolutely.
You're very welcome. So for anybody who kind of missed it, there was an announcement that went out yesterday with just a date and something saying New Frontier, and it was a little bit cryptic. And then there was a video released earlier on tonight, along with a website which I've only just kind of opened up and had a look at literally as the stream was starting. Right, I did have a look previously, but now it's kind of up and there, so people can see a little bit more information. We'll preview the website in a second. For everybody who's perhaps tuning in and wondering what's Tour Down Under about, what's Tour Down Under about?
Well, the Tour Down Under is a new initiative which is seeking to supercharge and modernize the growth of disc golf in New Zealand. And in essence, it's a truncated tour attempting to incentivize the world's best players to come to New Zealand and compete here during the North American off-season alongside our homegrown rising stars. So the announcement today effectively just makes the public aware for the very first time of the tour and of our mission. And it's the first time that I suppose New Zealanders will see will be introduced to our brand and our event schedule and a lot of our promotional material. So we're really excited to introduce the Tour Down Under brand to the public. And as Matt, you mentioned, our website tourdownunder.co.nz is now live.
Excellent. Okay, so
as of just now, when we're going live here.
It was funny,
Nice.
Matt, that you said that it went live at the beginning of the stream, because I just went onto it and realized I didn't actually turn it on. Earlier, so
it's on.
Rectify my mistake. So it's now
it's on now, which we'll have a look at in a second.
Yeah.
There's going to be people out there who say, well, wait a minute, we've got a New Zealand disc golf tour organized by NZDG.
Yeah. We've
got an elite series organized by a collective of people from around the country. We've got this is now a third tour. Okay, elephant in the room. Why do we need a third tour?
There's a few reasons. The first is that we're really concentrating our efforts on presenting a very small season of premier events at a time of year that's suitable for North American and European touring pros to visit this part of the world. It's a time of year where the weather here is attractive for those people to come and enjoy the beauty of our country. But it's also a time in which there's not a lot of disc golf being played in those.
So it's aimed at the American and European market.
It's partly aimed at that. You know, there's two sides to the coin, really. You know, we're looking to engage the pros and invite them over, but in doing so, we sense that the influence of those players here in New Zealand will go a long way to supercharging the growth of the game domestically.
Okay, and is this part of the NZDG?
Yes, so the Tour Down Under and NZDG have struck a partnership, and NZDG are acting as a supporting partner to the Tour Down Under. We feel that it's really important to be supportive of, affiliated with, and endorsed by our national governing body. And as such, all of the events that feature on the Tour Down Under schedule are also sanctioned by New Zealand Disc Golf, and so therefore participants in those events will earn tour points to the New Zealand Disc Golf Tour. Yeah.
So do you have a set? Sorry, Matt. Do you have a separate points system for the? Is it just NZDG points, or is it both? Have you got a separate points series?
We're working on a concept to potentially present a season-long race for the Tour Down Under only, and if we did institute such a competition, then entrants in Tour Down Under events would simultaneously earn tour points to both the Tour Down Under season-long race and the New Zealand Disc Golf Tour.
Okay. So are you only paying sanctioning fees to the NZDG, or are there sanctioning fees for the events for both? Just out of interest.
Sorry, I don't know. What are you referring to?
Well, when you sanction an event with NZDG, you've got to pay $7 a head or something, whatever it is, per player. Is that a thing with you guys?
No. Our event hosts.
No. So okay. So it all goes to NZDG.
So we have the same arrangement with NZDG in terms of the payment of tour fees, like any other NZDG event holder would have throughout the calendar year. All four of our events, which we can touch on shortly, I suppose we should want to discuss the schedule. All four of our events are, as I mentioned, sanctioned with NZDG and will thus pay the $7 per head fee to NZDG.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. So
it's good to know.
You mentioned the schedule there. You've currently got 4 events in the schedule. We'll get on to which ones they are in a minute, and I might bring it up on screen for people to make it a bit easier to see. Sure. But just a quick question before that.
Yeah.
So apologies for maybe just clarifying this. I want to be sure in my head, and I'm sure there might also be other people out there who would at least not be disappointed or annoyed if I got further clarification. So that the Tour Down Under is a group of tournaments that are a subset of the NZDG schedule. That's
correct. Yes.
Okay.
And now I should clarify that the Tour Down Under is its own private entity in and of itself. So okay. I, as in my capacity as the tour director of the Tour Down Under, together with my founding partner Simon Feasy, who is our tournaments officer, we through our businesses WIN.O and RPM are the founding partners of the Tour Down Under. The tour has therefore struck a partnership or an affiliation with the 4 event hosts on our schedule. So we might as well run through the events because I think that's
okay. Let me just bring it up onto the screen now. So, and I'm just going to hang on a minute. Let me just get you on the screen as well, so that we're so the well, So for anybody who's wondering, this is the NZ tourdownunder.co.nz is the name of the website, and this particular site, this particular page that we're on now, you can get to if you go to events. That's what I've clicked up the top here is events, and then you'll find the tour schedule. 4 events, 4 weeks at New Zealand's most beautiful disc golf venues. So that you've got the 4 events here. Talk us through them.
Yeah, so we have 4 of the most spectacular venues in New Zealand associated with the tour, which we're so excited by. And effectively, they're split into a North Island leg consisting of 2 events and a South Island leg of a further 2 events. So the tour begins in Taupō for the 2024 Taupō Classic, and that event is being hosted by the Taupō Disc Golf Club. Steve Lawson and Ken Harris will be directing that event. That's going to be a 3-round, 3-day event at Spa Park, and it's such a pleasure to have an event at Spa Park, one of the most serene permanent courses in the country. So that's at the end of January on Auckland Anniversary Weekend. It starts on a Saturday and finishes on Auckland Anniversary Day, which is on the Monday. The tour then heads to Auckland for the 2024 Nationals, which is the 46th New Zealand National Championships. That's, as you will know, it's co-hosted by RPM Discs and WIN.O. And that event's going to be played across 3 venues in West Auckland, one of which is Balaraka, New Zealand's most challenging course, arguably. And
100%.
Yeah, and the
100%.
The pros will play 2 rounds at Balaraka and a further 2 rounds at a brand new course called Redwoods, which is a short drive from Balaraka, but it's going to offer a nice contrast to some of Bella's tight lines in native bush, and that Redwoods is a golf course with some nice undulation and some sort of flushing meadows for fairways. So you'll get a chance to kind of open your arm a little bit there. And we're anticipating that the National Championships is going to be the largest event in New Zealand history, both in terms of player participation, but also a projected pro purse. And we've therefore expanded capacity for that event to allow for such, and we'll have some of our recreational and novice and amateur players playing at Bethel's Paia-Tarangi.
You've got the novices playing Bethel's.
Well, we're not going to be playing the.
It's a beast of a course.
Yeah, there's been a great winter league actually held by Tim Marshall here in Auckland at Bethel's over the winter, and they've played a layout there which we feel is going to closely resemble what we'll offer for those players at Nationals. So I sense us Aucklanders might have had a bit of a head start in terms of finding their lines on some of the courses. So that's our North Island League. We then, and I should note that Nationals is on Waitangi long weekend. It finishes on a Tuesday. Then we then head to Christchurch for the 2024 Bottle Lake Open. Bottle Lake is slowly becoming a very well-regarded course in Christchurch. It's got a wonderful wooded section and a few holes to open up a bit and throw a few bombs. There's a nice good par 5 in there as well. So the Bottle Lake Open, together with Nationals, will be our 2 largest events. We're adding a second course for the Bottle Lake Open to increase player capacity to up to sort of the high 200s. And
sorry, I missed that part. Was that 2 courses at Bottle Lake?
Correct. Yes. So
nice.
At this stage, the tone poles that are at Bottle Lake at the moment are installed on what we call Rangers Park, which is the 18 holes that will have been played at last year's Bottle Lake Open. That course is currently up for permanent installation pending council approval, and all going well, that should be in hopefully by the end of the year, but certainly by the time the Bottle Lake Open comes around. and then we'll add a second course on site at Bottle Lake Forest to cater for another 120, 140 players. So the pros will play Rangers Park, and then our amateurs will be assigned to the new course at Bottle Lake. And then finally, the tour marks its conclusion at the Paradise Plates, which is hosted by our friends at Disc Golf Wanaka and Vortica Disc Golf. And Paradise is just the most serene, beautiful venue in the country. So we're so lucky to have the support and affiliation with Disc Golf Wanaka and Vortica to close out the tour in style at Paradise. So they'll be hosting a 3-day, 3-round event on one 18-hole course for roughly about 140 players. That event runs from Saturday through to the Monday, and then that does us. That'll be the tour for 2024.
Awesome. So you've got excuse me. Excuse me. You've got 4 really incredible venues and tournaments going on there. Like really incredible. Like big praise for you for that, because those 4 locations are absolutely brilliant. And we've seen the disc golf at Taupo, obviously up at Bella and all the other Auckland courses in Paradise. I personally haven't seen Bottle Lake yet, but I only hear good things. I guess my question is they're all in such a short space of time, and you talk about possibly doing a points system for a separate point system to the NZDG one.
Yes.
Would you expect that many people to actually go to all 4? Because, you're talking 3-4 weeks off of work, or weekends where you have to take a Friday and a Monday, most likely to go to at least 3 of them. So I guess that's my only worry for you there. But I mean, everything else, brilliant, mate. Brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, look, we think it would be unrealistic to expect domestic participants to follow the entire tour season, and in determining the criteria for a season-long points race, we'd certainly factor that in. However, we think that this back-to-back format, four events in 4 weeks, is going to be really attractive to our visiting pros. And actually, that's something we haven't touched on yet. But the touring pros in the States are generally used to playing a season which consists of events and spacings of the type that we're presenting with the Tour Down Under. And so to have them come and visit us, get the most out of a 4-week experience, play some events.
Yeah, so you do have a big focus on trying to get the pros out here and really trying to attract to that market, essentially.
Correct. Yeah, and there's a few reasons to do that. One is that we feel that that New Zealand is really in a position to become the preferred off-season destination for these players. At this stage, they have a few options in terms of what they can do in their winter season, other than staying home. I know there's some activity that goes on in Southeast Asia each year, actually, as you touched on this morning in your announcement, Morgan. And Mexico.
That place has been a reason why we haven't seen a number of pros, because a few of them went and they told all their friends, and I can definitely vouch for it. It's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
It's hard to drag someone away from a tropical paradise like that.
Sure. And in Latin America, we understand that there's somewhat of an event sort of series there at that time of year too. But we really have, I suppose, responded to the demand from expressed by some of the touring North American pros that they want to come here, but they need a schedule to be able to commit to over a period that suits them to come. The other thing that I think will be really advantageous for bringing the pros to New Zealand is that it has the potential to raise the commercial profile of the sport. In New Zealand, we're still a very niche and grassroots sport, and don't really have mainstream appeal. But in terms of growing our sport to new players, new fans, new members, and increasing the possibility of partnerships and sponsorships with events throughout the calendar year here in New Zealand. We think that the influence of pros will prick the ears up of some media, and we can engage new fans and players through their participation in some media. So that's quite exciting.
So
yeah.
You've mentioned the getting overseas pros is a big part of this. What and actually that's also reflected in your registration tiering, which I've noticed on Disc Golf Scene is done by rating, so by division or broadly by division. So people with a higher rating will have priority to register first. Now, we've spoken about this quite a lot on the show. I think that's the right way to go if that's what you're dressing your tour to do, is to attract the top players, right? And I think that the tiering is kind of sending that message that this is aimed at the very best players, both in New Zealand and abroad. So, who have you got signed up then?
Well, we're in discussion with a couple of household names, and should be able to provide some more detail in terms of
a little sneak peek.
Going to attend.
Can you give us a clue?
To attend this summer, but at this stage, I can't overpromise and underdeliver, or risk the possibility of overpromising and underdelivering. But we sense that we're going to have some more information on that made available to the public in the next couple of weeks. So, in short, we're very excited by the conversations that we're having at the moment with some of the pros.
Okay.
Nice.
Talk to us a little bit about entry fees. Now, all of these tournaments are available on Disc Golf Scene, and they've got a variety of sign-up dates, more towards the end of this month. I think a few of them are about a week's time, and maybe some in early October. Fortunately, Arnie Burgess in the chat has done the maths for me. $780 if you want to enter all 4 of these events. And when you put on top of that accommodation, travel, etc., that's an expensive period of time. This isn't so yeah. So talk us through your thoughts there and how you arrived at some of those tournament entry prices.
Yeah, sure. We had some really good discussion with our event hosts about setting entry fees to account for what we thought would be strong demand for the events in light of the attendance of touring pros. But also, we were really interested in raising the professionalism of the events. We sense that these venues are fit for presenting an event of perhaps professionalism not seen in New Zealand before, and as you'll appreciate, that requires an element of investment in some assets to, I suppose, bring that vision to life. But the other thing I ought to note is that you may not have seen, because the website only just went up earlier, but we have a 2024 Players Guide PDF that's available for download from the Tour Down Under .co.nz website. And in that we provide projected pro purse amounts. And these amounts are, I suppose, significantly exceed anything that we have seen in New Zealand, particularly over a short period of time. The national championships, for instance, is a projected pro purse is 30,000 New Zealand dollars. So, and that will be the bulk of that will be made up through registration fees collected, but also through some partnership and sponsorship revenue generated, which the Tour Down Under brand is sort of seeking to elevate. So, in short, so I suppose to answer Arnie's question and yours, Matt, is we feel that the pricing of registration is important, I suppose, to still keep it within a means that ensures players can attend our events. But also,
I don't think Matt's question was more about like the individual pricing of the events, because I mean you can get up there with prices for events because these things do cost money.
sure.
Let's not beat around the bush with that. You know, if we want to pay out good, we want to run a good event, you want to be able to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
The money needs to come from somewhere. You know, I mean, it can't come out of the TD's personal pocket all the time. Where it does for a little bit to get things going, but in reality, it doesn't.
It's
It has to come from somewhere. But I think the issue, and Matt sort of touched on it, and what I touched on before, is just over such a short space of time for that amount of money. You know, what was it, 780 just for the events if you were to go to all four, which you don't expect people to go to. But you know, if they did want to do that and try and tick off all four because they are such good events, that's what it's going to sting them.
Yeah, I can understand the dilemma, but we need to balance that obviously with the interests of the pros that are coming over, and the type of package that we're presenting to commercial partners of the tour. To string it out over a certain number of weeks, I think it's going to be quite difficult, because we are, with the tour's mission to bring these pros over, we are really limited to a couple of small sections either side of Christmas, and it wouldn't be, I don't feel it would be sustainable for us to expect pros to, you know, come for upwards of 6, 7, 8 weeks at a time. And
are you for the? I'm sorry to be so blunt about this, but are you for the New Zealand players? Because it just sounds like all you're really going for right now is the pros, and I don't mean to sound as dickish as I do right now, but that's just what it kind of sounds like to me.
No, absolutely not. I think that's. I don't think so at all. I think that we're incredibly keen to support our local pros in attending all of our events and do everything that we can to present a premium product. You know, at the end of the day, we are expecting to attract only half a dozen of, say, the top 100 players MPO in the world, and 1 to 3 top 30 FPO players in the world. That leaves, you know, for nationals, for instance, 290 places in the field that we need to fill up. So I think it'd be ridiculous for us to sort of think that, you know, we're going to attract enough attention from beyond our borders to fill up those events substantially enough to disregard the interests of the domestic
yeah, it's really important, right? Because we've seen it and we've talked about it on the show. The majority of the players in tournaments that are currently being played we see them in MA2, MA3, and MA, and to a lesser degree MA1, right? Yeah. That's where the bulk of the players are. And if you've run any kind of tournament, then you've seen that, and you will have seen it on the show when we go through results. I mean, the size of those divisions is huge. So I guess there is a point, I think, that's fair there, that kind of says, well, is there a chance that the amateurs could be paying for the pro purse?
No. We have, you know, in the players guide PDF, obviously we've given a indicative projected pro purse cash amount. We've assigned one of those to each of our events, but that's not to disregard a prize pool for each of our amateur divisions at these events of, I suppose, similar significance. Obviously, we're going to have to work that out as we go, because it's not feasible to ascertain what certain division demand will look like exactly. But regardless, I think the philosophy that I'm trying to convey here is that the Tour Down Under is really just looking to present some of the best events that New Zealand has ever seen and invite some of the world's best players to come over and enjoy that together with us, make a real spectacle out of it, engage the local media, and in turn supercharge the growth of our sport.
Okay. You, on your website, there is I'm on the players guide here, the local players, the one
Okay.
the PDF that you mentioned.
Yep.
And it says Perkins to defend title. So Nate Perkins coming back then?
Nate Perkins is coming back. Yeah, he
Fantastic.
is going to come back and is very excited to be defending his title. Nate has been incredibly helpful in terms of being an advocate for us and the Tour Down Under and our initiative in and amongst the DGPT Touring Pro crowd. And so without his support, I don't know that we would be having the types of conversations with prospective players at the moment that we would be otherwise. So to have Nate back this season is very exciting, and he is very energized about the Tour Down Under initiative.
It also says that you can go to a coaching roadshow with Lazotte, Jones, and Gibson, and another coaching clinic with Callaway, Gilbert, and Gannon. Is that Lauren Ipsum, or is that genuine?
That is just filler content. So I just created those two.
Okay.
Effectively
as an example. That's
a bit of an example about how that might look. So no. In short, none of those players are confirmed. Yeah.
Okay. You've got a 2024 players section on your website.
Yes.
So how do you become a player then? What do you have to do to be one of these people?
Well, these are sort of some featured players on our on the Tour Down Under, and Levi J, Jacko, and Joseph have obviously made their mark on the New Zealand scene over the last couple of years. Jacko, obviously, for the better part of a decade, but these are really our homegrown rising stars, and there's a few other names that we'd like to add to that list in due time. But look, for the time being, I think those four are really leading the way in terms of putting New Zealand on the world map. Actually, I shouldn't forget Sarah Wadsworth won a world championship recently, so she's put New Zealand on the world map maybe more than all four of them. But anyway, that's another conversation. Look, what I should stress is that Matt, you might find on one of the pages there's an FAQ section, and it says one of the questions in that section talks about who exactly is eligible to play in a Tour Down Under event, and we're very encouraging of players of all abilities to engage with the tour and come and compete on our events. So whether you're a local or an international player, budding amateur or a seasoned professional, we're really keen to invite you to come and enjoy our events. In addition to the tournament offering and competition play, we'll be offering or presenting a fan experience that I suppose will engage players and fans in new ways never seen before in New Zealand. So yeah, really excited for players and fans of all walks to come and enjoy our events.
So what's your what kind of media plans do you have?
Well, we've got a pretty extensive media strategy, and I suppose we'd say that's split into three sections. The first is post-production coverage of MPO and FPO action of all the tour events, and we're working on an arrangement with the PDGA and some third-party media providers to produce and deliver that content. In addition, where the second part, I suppose, is that we're excited to how would you put it? We're eager to produce a expansive off-course media experience. So what I mean by that is that we're looking to create audio-visual content for YouTube, Meta, so that's Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, with our visiting pros, with some of our featured players, in conjunction with our events. That's not necessarily the traditional post-production coverage that we see, but more so a expansive range of kind of fun and engaging content with all of those stakeholders to engage fans that don't know about disc golf in new ways. So that might consist of things like course previews with some of our visiting pros. We've got some plans for some community engagement activities with some of our partners that have expressed an interest in coming over. So we'll produce some media to showcase that. We have some ideas for some sort of podcast stuff and some Instagram reel stuff. And look, it's pretty broad. So I suppose the public will see that as it comes out. And then the third media component is through PR, and we'll look to engage both the mainstream media, sort of sports media here in New Zealand, and introducing them to disc golf and introducing them to the Tour Down Under. And we sense that some of the pros that we're in discussions with will be of interest to a number of those media people. So hopefully that puts kind of disc golf in the homes of people that have sort of never engaged with disc golf before, and the New Zealand community should see a return in terms of membership increases at club level and NZDG level. So yeah, that's what we've got planned.
I think I think what you're doing is really good, man. I think, you know, what everything that's happening around the sport in the country right now is going to deliver the sport to a whole nother level across the board. And yeah, I mean, I wish you guys all the best, because, you know, again, you know, some people might think it's a bit hard or funny for me to be sat here in the position that I'm in and having a conversation with you, but, you know, I'm stoked. It's going to be great for the sport as a whole across the country, and yeah, props to you.
I think, look, we're all doing our best efforts with the shared mission to grow our sport to new heights. And look, regardless of tour affiliation, regardless of vendor or retailer or brand affiliation in New Zealand, we have a shared purpose that I think binds us together. And given our sport is so small, we, I suppose, need to be mindful about how costly it is, I suppose, to not band together and promote our sport. So I think it's very exciting to see all sorts of, I suppose, initiatives and development happening up and down the country at all times of the year to make
Absolutely.
our sport bigger and brighter.
Absolutely, with you on that one.
I think yeah. I generally like the look of it. It's very sharp. It's got a very sharp kind of look, which is we've become accustomed from. It's very WIN.O, if you know what I mean. It screams WIN.O branding, which obviously is not to be. That's not a criticism, by the way, or no, you know, a slight. It's an observation. As a kind of, I'm trying to put myself. It's really difficult to do. I'm trying to put myself into the shoes of an MA2 player here, who's perhaps who perhaps plays a little bit on their home course, maybe turns out for their local tournament that is held every year or whatever. And is thinking about, oh, actually, you know, I'm getting a little bit better. I keep beating all my mates, so I'm going to try and do something here. There's quite a lot going on, isn't there? Like with having two tours, is there a danger that there's some confusion there? And I appreciate I'm talking right now to the tour directors of those two tours, so this might seem like an odd question to pose to one or both of you, but is there a danger that it gets confusing, or it shows division within the New Zealand disc golf community to the wider world? Is any of that going on?
I think it could definitely be visually seen as a bit of division. Don't particularly feel that way. I mean, the Tour Down Under's 4 weeks of the year. It's a slightly different thing, even though it's part of NZDG's broader picture. It's in reality just a 4-week thing, whereas for the Elite Series it's 12 months. So slightly different thing. We moved away from NZDG just for different reasons for different TDs, but this is where we landed. And yeah, I don't know. It can look like a lot of different things to different people. I don't know. What do you think, Henry?
I don't know. I'm not really too sure that I'm confident in my thoughts around it, because I think there'll be a really wide range of opinions on this matter.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying that me asking this question isn't me giving an opinion. It's me applying some form of journalistic rigor. So that's where it's come from.
Yeah. Well, what I would say is that I feel demand for events has steadily increased over the last couple of years, and it seems like a natural progression for tournament hosts and directors to respond to that by offering more options to play sanctioned events. So in some ways I can appreciate how maybe a new player to the New Zealand scene could interpret the, I suppose, different brands that are associated with different tours or different events as a form of division. But I wouldn't necessarily say that is or should be the key takeaway. And in my mind, it's more so the market is adjusting to increased demand with increased supply. And hopefully that those two keep pushing each other up to a point where we're in a position in New Zealand to have multiple sanctioned events happening on a single weekend in different places.
That's definitely coming. We can definitely do it on the north and the south at the same time already. I think there's a lot of new events. There's a lot of new events on the tour right now, and I think what we have seen is when you say you want to see them keep pushing each other up, I think what we've seen is actually leveling off to where you're not getting the crazy numbers of events you might have got before, and you're coming back down to not normal because they're still high, but more normal level of players at events, but then spread out across more events. I made that really hard to say for some reason.
That's maybe where I see the advantage of embarking on this Tour Down Under initiative, is that there's only, I suppose, so much that that disc golf can organically generate in terms of player interest and demand, and that an initiative of this, with a vision of this scale, I think could have a substantial impact on engaging a new audience for disc golf, and hopefully that we'll see that.
So looking down into the telescope of the future, you're looking at keeping this as a compact thing?
When you say compact, you're referring to that period?
Just a short period of time. Sorry, short period of time for events. You've got the 4 events. I would probably assume that you would add a couple to that, but are you still looking in that shorter time frame, targeted at those overseas pros and players being able to get involved in the activities around those guys? Correct, or are you thinking down the line, expanding and taking over NZDG?
No, we're not looking to take over NZDG in any capacity. In fact, we're looking to work in collaboration with them to raise the sport to new heights. And we think that our best, I suppose, contribution to that is really in our work over the period of time in which the touring pros are available to come over. We can concentrate our efforts on a short period of the year, engage the local media, and then I think New Zealand Disc Golf will respond to that, and is already making some really exciting adjustments to its own policy around what kind of events it offers throughout the calendar year. So I think the two will just continue to sort of adjust and improve their products accordingly, and work in conjunction with one another.
Do you have any other events that are going to be added to this year's schedule, or is those 4 events that's your calendar?
no, our season is locked in. Our 4 events are the events for the 2024 season. It's the 4 that we talked about earlier. We've got some thoughts around how we could expand the Tour Down Under seasonal offering in future seasons, but at least for the 2024 season, what you see on the website and in the Players Guide PDF is what's being presented.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And presumably, so next year, the 2025 Tour Down Under will look broadly similar, but perhaps slightly different because presumably nationals will be in a different place.
Yeah, we'll after the 2024 season finishes, we'll reflect on what we can, I suppose, improve on or incorporate into our Tour Down Under brand and offering to come back with an even better season in 2025, and that could include a great variety of adjustments or amendments. So who knows, really? We'll see. We've put our ideas out there, and we'll see how the market responds, and then we'll adjust accordingly.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Well, look, thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's been a good chat. I think everybody hopefully now is a little bit more clued up on what Tour Down Under is and was, especially with the launch of the website, which I'm sure people are going to be visiting this evening and this weekend. We've had quite a few comments, quite a few questions, not been able to get to all of them. So if you're on the comment section later, perhaps you want to speak to some of the questions that's there.
If we've got a moment, Matt, there are 1 or 2 that are sort of popping out that I think I could address quite quickly.
Sure, go for it.
Yeah, the first one's from Kath. Kath asks about where is our female representative. We have. I think Kath will be quite excited with some of the visiting pros that we're engaging with over in the States.
I think that question came up when you had. I just happened to look down at the screen when it came up. It was when you had Levi, Joseph, Jacko, and
oh right, okay,
yeah, Jaden on the screen.
Right, gotcha.
I think that was where that might have been aimed.
Right, I see what you mean. Look, as I mentioned earlier when we touched on those, the players that were featured as our featured players, we are looking to expand that list to include some other players and feel that it would be great to have our female included on that list. So, yeah, I would just say to Kath, it's early days. And I just did an all-nighter to try and get the site finished, so I couldn't add everything that I wanted to in time. But I think that you'll find over the coming weeks that that we'll have some promotion of surrounding the women's game and our women's competitors that will be quite exciting. There was one other question there which I saw. Bray asked if we're expecting 6 pros or 106. That's a lot of accommodating. We're just expecting 6, not 100. And then there was one more. Yeah, the other was just Ben Upton's. I think we kind of touched on it, but Ben asked, what assurances can you give that amateur entry fees won't be padding with purses and NZ disc golfers will see value? I think we kind of touched on it, but I'll just reiterate that none of the amateur entry fees will be used in any way to buffer pro purses, pro payouts, or any incentives offered to pros to come over. So we're looking to reinvest a great deal of those entry fees back into our event offerings to, I suppose, elevate the experience for all of our players, including our amateurs, and also to make notable contributions to amateur prize pools. So yeah, that's pretty much it, I think.
Excellent. Look, Henry, thank you so much for stopping by. It certainly isn't going to be the last that we see or hear from you. I'm sure we'll have you back on the show before these events kick off. I'm very much looking forward to hearing the announcements of some of the people that you're going to be getting to come along. It'll be quite the attraction, I'm sure, to get the pros across. I know that when Nate Perkins was here earlier on in the year, and with Avery, and Avery, they drew a lot of attention, and people were stoked just to meet them, right, and to see them after the round or before the round, just to shake the hand and say, hey, how's it going? And so if any of that can happen with these events, they're relatively spread out. So I'm sure that there'll be events that people can get to watch, or at least or possibly even to play in. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what happens.
Awesome. Thanks as always for having me on the show. It's always nice to chat to you. And Morg's our first time together on the show, so it's been a bit of a ripper.
Yeah, man.
Enjoyed it.
Good to have you here, man, for the chat. Appreciate it. We'll catch up soon.
Sweet as. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Excellent. Cheers, Henry.
Cool.
Thanks. So there we go, Morgan. Some quite exciting stuff, and actually different to different to what I was expecting, but like it was good to have it clarified in terms of the scope of the tour, what its goals are, and I think that I've got a clear idea who it's kind of aiming at.
Yeah. Look, I think everyone's definitely going to have a much clearer idea after that. I know I do as well. And you know what? That was excuse me. That was the angle they were going for as well. They wanted that mystery to it. He obviously wanted to release the information just before the show, a couple of hours, and then may or may not have just released the website when we've gone live. You never know, intentionally, not intentionally. I like that. But yeah, I mean, it is. It's good to have that clarity, and you know, there's a lot of positives that you can take from what they're doing. And you know, as I said to them before, big props to them. It's a cool thing they're doing. My only concern, I really hope they don't forget about the little guy.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's fair, and that's fair. The thing that jumped out to me, I think, looking at the events, I think Topor, it's the Topor Classic, isn't it? Not the Thermal Throwdown. That's later on. That's next month. But the Classic,
yeah,
the Topor Classic. Yeah, I see that as being a fine course to bring people from overseas to. Auckland. Now, I'm ashamed to say that I've never played Bellaraka, so I can't kind of comment on
it's
it.
It's an incredible course, absolutely stunning. You've got your big open wide fairways, and then you've got the tightest, longest, narrowest fairways you've ever seen. Then going up onto a hill from the end of 100 meter fairway that's about 4 meters wide, and then throwing about another 80 meters directly up a hill over the top of trees. It's incredible in its own special way, and it is, for me, probably my favorite course in the country. But man, it's a tester, and it will get mixed reactions, I would say, from those guys that are used to not bush golf.
Well, the other thing that I would say here is, and it applies to Paradise as well. And I'm not sure about Bottle Lake. I suspect to a lesser extent Bottle Lake, but to Paradise as well. And that's self-preservation, right? Because the last thing the pros want to do, the pros visiting from the States, is come to New Zealand and twist an ankle, which then keeps them out of, I don't know, whatever tournaments they're going to go back and play. The Las Vegas is normally the first one, and then Waco and whatever. So I know that Paradise is very rugged. Again, I've not played it, but I've seen footage of it being played, and I'm aware that it's very rugged. So it's an interesting choice of tournaments.
Yeah. I've played many years of Paradise. It is also one of my favorite spots on earth, not just to play disc golf, but to be. But I have heard, I've heard Big Germ speak about it. He loved it out there, but just the exact point you made, breaking ankles, rolling ankles, breaking knees. There's a lot of danger in it. But it is one of the most incredible courses you could ever play.
Yeah.
Incredible. If you haven't been, make sure you go.
Yeah, I will do. And I will get to it. Unfortunately, that's the wrong term to use. I won't be able to make any of those events. as you may know. So I'm going to be watching from afar. I'm going to be the off. How did Henry put it? The off course media consumer for those 4 events. I mean, it's very unlikely I'll get to any of them. And so
you're a little tied up at the start of next year.
I will be tied up for that period of time, but I shall be watching intently as to what goes on and trying to trying to provide any kind of level of analysis that I can, albeit from afar. But the following year, I'll be all about it and trying to get involved and see what it's all about. And I think what'll be interesting is the lessons that can be learnt from this and how they can be adapted for not only in the next year but for other tournaments in the year. I do take your point about looking after the little guy. We've seen it time and time again. The vast majority of people playing disc golf in this country are MA2, MA3 players, and so yeah, we'll see how that goes. The entry fees are steep, in my opinion.
I haven't seen the entry fees for any of them. We did look at Taupo a couple of weeks ago, but I don't recall it.
Well, it's for people to decide, right? I'm not going to sit here and say that they objectively are expensive. For me, they are they seem pricey. I hope they provide the value. I really honestly hope they provide the value that people hope they do from the fees. Okay, let's move on now. That wasn't the only announcement that came out today. There was also an announcement on the Elite Series. Morgan, you made it earlier on.
I think some guy went live on Facebook this morning. I've seen something.
Some guy was you. And so talk us through it. What did if people haven't seen it, what did they miss?
Yeah, guys. I mean, if you do want to jump onto the NZ Elite Series page or even the Generation Disc Golf page, you can watch my 8-minute-long video. It's absolutely stirring. But
you're doing yourself a disservice. It's great.
In summary, guys, we just made an announcement. We're looking at all of the prizes for all the divisions, for the series winners for the divisions, and we started off today by announcing the MPO winners prize, which is a pretty significant one and a pretty cool one. And it's just, to be honest, it's just the start. There's some more to come, but we got this one across the line yesterday, and it just seemed fitting to get the news out before I blurted it out when I shouldn't, which would have probably been on tonight's show. So I'm sorry for spoiling that. But anyway, the winner of the MPO division overall for the series, for the NZ Elite Series, that is, we're going to fly them from Auckland to Koh Samui, Thailand, in January 2025 to go and compete in the Samui Swine, the Heisen Brownie, and we're going to put them up for a week's accommodation. They can stay longer if they want. The tour series out there is about 5 weeks long, so I mean, we'll do your flights, whenever you want to go and come back, and accommodation, tournament entry for the Samui Swine at least. And I think that's a pretty sweet prize. What do you reckon, Matt?
That's incredible. And for anybody who's not been to Thailand before, it's an absolutely fantastic country. Disc golf aside, it's a fantastic country to go to. Fascinating country.
Absolutely.
And
part of that 8-minute chat that I had this morning was me just waffling on about how good it is. I'd encourage. I've been out there a couple of times.
You've been out to play disc golf. I've been there just on holiday, and it's incredible. So yeah, very well worth going. And
I went out there for a 3-month trip with my now wife a few years back. Found disc golf on Koh Samui, met the guys there, and then ended up flying back out there a year and a half later to go and compete in the tournament, which I found out they were having, and stayed for like 3 weeks. Took some other friends from overseas that went and got involved, and we got friends for life from out there. It's a sort of experience that you'll never, ever, ever forget, and you'll talk about way too much, way too often.
Well, and to win that, you need to be the MPO winner of the Elite Series. So let's just have a look at some of the events that are coming up. So now what you'll notice about some of the upcoming events is there's a lot of red, which means sold out on this page now. The first event we got coming up is the Tauranga Extreme, which is in just over a week's time in McLaren's. That has sold out. The Te Pōhoi Breeze, which is in the middle of October, that is selling out. I think there's 5 spots left, maybe 4.
We have to say that must be close.
It's a handful, I would say, of spots left. Hammer Hot Springs, same weekend on the Sunday, that is also selling out. That is in that's in the same kind of ballpark. There's about a handful of spots left in that tournament. The Topol Thermal Throwdown, this is the first event of my summer, and that is sold out. Really looking forward to that. The Waimate Spring Sling does have spots left, 21st, 22nd of October. So get yourself involved if you're in Waimate or the local area there. Auckland Disc Golf Champs, the week after that, sold out, end of October. The Rapper Rumble in Masterton, first weekend of November, sold out. Again, really looking forward to that one. There's one more I need to add on to here. Moonbase 9, which is South Island Champs, still spots available, 10th to the 12th of November. And the Bros for Change Charity Classic is on the 17th to the 19th of November. Wahitapu down in Lake Ohau is at the last weekend of November. The Fault Line Fury is the same weekend. So the 25th, 26th of November is the Fault Line Fury. I've not marked it on here, but registration for that is open. You'll have to go to the Facebook page. There's no Disc Golf Scene event page for it, and it's a non-PDGA event. However, it is an NZDG event, so get yourself over to the Facebook page if you want to.
Did you say it's non-sanctioned, but it's on NZDG?
Correct. So
I didn't realize that was a thing.
It is a thing. It is a thing. It's a
might be 40 or 50 pointer.
It might be a 40. Let me just
okay.
check.
Well, that'll make more sense. Yeah. Okay.
Let me just check.
I'm just not sure if I've ever come across that before. Well, not for a number of years anyway.
If you want to get involved in the event, it's this event here. This is what you're trying to search for. Fault Line Fury 2023. It will not be sanctioned. It's not PDGA. However, is it NZDG? I'm sure I saw it say it was NZDG. I may be mistaken.
If you guys are in the chat, could you let us know, please?
It doesn't look like it is, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't get involved, because Fault Line is one of the best tournaments I've played, and I'm not only saying that because it's up the road. I'm also saying that because it's played on one of the best courses, in my view, in New Zealand, one of the oldest courses.
Ray said it's at the top of the page.
Oh, okay. Is it? Sorry. Let me. Oh, there it is. Yes, sorry, it is there. I did read it right. This year, the event will not be PDGA champions, but will have tour points up for grabs and cash prizes for the open divisions. So yeah, get yourself involved with Fault Line Fury. There's a sign-up link via a Google Sheet that you need to get involved on there if you want to do it. Actually, what we'll do is, let me just grab the link. I'll put the link in the comments just in case you're not on Facebook or prefer not to use it. Go to this link here, and it'll take you through to the registration link. So yes, that's always a great tournament, and it's 4 rounds of 18 holes in 2 days. It's quite a slog for a relatively one of the shorter courses. It's quite a slog, and I tell you, when you get to the sort of the end of the front 9 of that round 4, you start to feel it, and you're holding on for the bitter end. At that point, you're hoping that you've got some kind holes still to come.
Just holding on, getting blown along by the wind, Matt.
Well, it's actually it's actually normally pretty calm over there. But there's 2 rounds at Harcourt Park and 2 rounds at California Park, just across the river. So yeah, make sure you get involved. It's a fantastic event. Love it. Really looking forward to it. And yeah, that's going to be the last event of the year for me anyway. Back onto upcoming events. We've got Egg Monster which is North Island Champs in Inglewood between the 5th and the 7th of January. That's obviously the second major of the season. Roxburgh Open on the 13th, 14th January, and then the Southern Smash 19th, 21st of January, and then the Seafarer 27th, 28th of January. There's a nice little loop you could do there. And then the Topor Classic, which is at the end of January. That's the first Tour Down Under event. We talked about how there was staggered entry fees for this. Let me just show you by way of an example the Topor Classic one, because the registration date has changed from what was previously advertised here. So this is the disc golf scene page for the Topor Classic, and you can see that the registration for tier 1s opens on the 26th of September, which is the 26th of September's Sunday, isn't it? Tuesday, sorry, apologies, next Tuesday. And it's 900 rated for the mixed divisions and 825 rated for ladies divisions. And the other Tour Down Under events follow a similar kind of schedule, right? So I think it's some of the others have 3 tiers, where you got 940, I think, is the top tier, and then a day later 900, and then a day later anyone. And the ladies divisions follow a similar kind of pattern. But that registration date has changed, 26th of September. So yeah, this event usually sells out pretty quick. Topor Classic is traditionally been known as one of the events that sells out super quick. So make sure that you get involved if you're in the area, and you want to go to the first Tour Down Under event, the inaugural Tour Down Under event in end of January next year. Midsummer's Dream down in Christchurch. Registration for opens for that just after Christmas. Then you've got New Zealand Nationals up in Auckland, the second event. Again, registration on the 26th and 27th of September. And this is perhaps noteworthy in that you've got 2 events here. There's a lot of money being shelled out in those on those days if you want to sign up for both of these events. Now, given the numbers that Henry was talking about, I don't suspect nationals will sell out within a day, but it might do. Bottle Lake Open is the week after.
Am I back, Matt?
You are back. Yes, you were going.
Sorry, mate. I'm actually on call for work every night of the week. I had to answer that. I couldn't figure out how to get off the chat. My apologies.
No, okay. You look like you're on a roller coaster for a minute, but you're back now. Then you've got Bottle Lake Open and Paradise Plates, which is the second and third weekends of February, and then rounding out our list of events here is the Garden City Open, which is at the end of March, which is the third Elite Series event down in Christchurch. Now, let's have a look at the rankings and how they've changed following the final meltdown. Megan Merrick moves up 3 places to 4th in the power rankings in the ladies division. That's the biggest mover here. Francis Orange drops 3 places to 14th. The big winner was Isaac Latta, who climbed 69 places to 22nd as a result of his second place finish at the final meltdown. Obviously, he in order to do that, he beat a whole bunch of people. He beat Francis, who was 11th, Ethan, who was 16th, Tom McKay, who was 17th, etc. So, yeah, very well done to Isaac, and hopefully we can get him to he can carry on that rich vein of form with all the tournaments that are happening down south. Okay, that about wraps it up for tonight. Morgan, whoa. What a show, eh?
I do have one more thing, Matt, that I forgot to mention before.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, well, I want to save you guys the pain and agony of the 8-minute video if you really don't want to go and watch it. The one other thing that I did mention on that, on that video, guys, is myself and Adam at Generation Disc Golf are actually going to be putting together a package deal for people to go out to Thailand. And join us, because we'll be going out there. We've probably got about another, 8 to 9, maybe even 10 people, basically 100% confirmed that they're coming. And we just want to make it as affordable as possible for people to actually come out and experience what I have in the past. So it'll be, we talked about flights. Flights might be a hard one, but all your accommodation, event entries, and a few other bits and pieces, tournament playing shirts, a big package deal, which will be cheaper, and you won't have to mess around trying to figure this all out on your own. I've got all the hookups out there already from going out there a few times and know all the guys. So yeah, putting together something cool for that to try and get all you guys to come and join it.
That sounds great. So if you do miss out on winning the MPO division, which will be most people, but you still want to go to Koh Samui, then look out for those details, and that will be an incredible experience for anybody who takes you up on the offer. Anyway, thanks very much for joining us today, guys. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're not. Guess what? 25% of the people watching this video aren't subscribed. So if you like what we produce, I know it's ridiculous.
Come on, guys.
Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. But wherever you're playing disc golf, take it easy, play well, get some birdies, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.